let's take a look. It looks like there's a few questions. Some are written up on the board. Okay. Oh!
You can go to the lower class.
So before I move to page 9, 10, 11, I can know some of the problems are written up there. Is there anything from pages 7 or 8 you would like to see? I worked out quite a bit, right? Or talked about? Is there any you'd like to see? Yeah. Number 3? Okay. We have pretty short notes today, so we have some good time that we can do this. Number 3. So just because it might not be your question doesn't mean you should pay attention to make sure you can get it. Is that the right? That's the right problem. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So item 1, we have 3 terms up there. We have a denominator of a 3. We have a denominator of a 2. This would have a denominator of 1 if you wanted to say it has a denominator. So what's the smallest number that both 3 and 2 go into? Yeah, 6. I multiply this by 6 over 1, 6 over 1, and 6 over 1. By me doing that, this will cancel here. I get 2 times 2, which is 4. Is that okay? Plus, this goes in there, 3x, and then that's equal to 42. Okay, so what that did was it cleared the denominator. So please realize that this is over 1 like that. You just multiply top, top, bottom, bottom. I can combine those like terms, so I get 7x is equal to 42. And then I can do my dotted line. Divide each side by 7. So you find that x is equal to 6. Cool? Other questions from pages 7 and 8? Yeah. 11? All right, number 11, 3 over 4x minus 1/4 x plus 5 over 3 equals 25 over 6. Quick question. How many terms does it look like I have up there? A lot. A lot? Good. Yeah, 4. Good. I have 4 terms. This is a term, this is a term, term, and a term. I have 4 different denominators. I have a denominator of a 4, I have another of a 4, I have one of a 3, and I have one of a 6. So what's the smallest number that 4, 3, and 6 all go into?
16.
16? Close. 3 doesn't work, nor does 6.
12.
12? 12?
12.
12? We agree?
12.
Wow. You're only 4 out this time, so you're getting closer.
Hey,
Alright, I'm going to multiply each term by 12 over 1. What did I do? Alright, so when I do that, that's going to allow this to be a 1, this to become a 3. So I have to go 3 times 3, so that becomes 9x. Yes? Because I reduced it. 4 goes into 12 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Is that 3? Here, that's going to cancel. This is going to become a 3. So the minus sign comes down. 3 times 1 is 3. There's an x with that. This next one, I'm going to reduce that 1, so that becomes a 4. So 4 times 5 is 20. Okay. Equals, let's see, that goes in there once. That's going to become 50. Any questions about what we did there? Again, we cleared the denominator. We no longer have to work with the denominator. The answer is still going to be the same, which is pretty cool. Okay? Combine like terms. Those are like terms. So I get 6x plus 20 is equal to 50. Now I can go ahead and put my dotted line in. So I'm going to subtract 20 from each side. Those cancel. So I get 6x is equal to 30. Divide by 6, right? And then what's my answer then? 30 divided by 6 is 5. It's 36. How do we feel? Okay. Are there any other questions on pages 6, 7, and 8? Pages 7 and 8. This teacher has his still logged in, so his emails come through. So we can hack his account saying he's trying to sell Barry Manilow tickets. Let's get it. What do you got?
Let's see what he's doing.
14. He's like some corny singer from the olden days. Number 14, we have 1 over 2y plus 1 over 3 is equal to 2, 1 over 6y. How many terms does it appear we have? We know a lot. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sense? I have denominators of 2 and 3 and 6. What's the smallest number they all go into? I see a 6. I see a 6, yes? Would 6 work?
Yeah.
12 would work as well. If you chose 12, your answer is still going to be the same. You're just multiplying larger numbers. Okay? So if you find the smallest number, 6 is the smallest number, so I'll multiply that by 6 over 1, that by 6 over 1, that by 6 over 1, and that by 6 over 1. Yeah?
So if you do a larger number than the smallest number you can fit into, would you have to reduce the number to get that actual?
What'll happen is when you're solving for y, you'll just divide by a larger number, and then the constant on the other side would have been a larger number, but the answer's still the same. So I mean, you could even say those numbers go into 60.
Okay.
So you can multiply by 60 over 1, and they would, that'd be a lot bigger, right? But it's still going to work out the same when you go solve it again. Let's see. That goes 3 times, so 3 times 1 is 3, and the y comes along, plus sign comes down. That goes twice, so 2 times 1 is 2, equals, not going to have a fraction, right? It just comes out to 12. Subtraction sign comes along for the ride. This reduces this. That's 1y, so that's just y. Okay, again, we have, of those 4 terms, we no longer have a fraction, which makes it a little bit nicer. Let's break that down. So I think I could probably add y to both sides first. That's supposed to be a plus sign, sorry. That's 4y plus 2 equals 12. What's the next step? Yeah.
You subtract 2 from both sides.
Good. Subtract 2 from both sides. So that cancels that. So I get 4y is equal to 10. And then divide each side by 4. So I wind up with an answer of y is equal to 10 over 4, which reduces to 5 over 2. Could you write 2.5 or 2.5? Sure. Did it work out? Sweet. Awesome. Let me see it real quick. Let me see. Look.
This one, right?
See, that's perfect. Yeah.
This is
And I don't know what that
Spanish.
is, but that's.
This is just for Spanish.
If they tried selling that too for math, you con you out of some money. Nah, I'm just giving you a hard time. All right. Is there any other questions for pages 7 and 8? Are we set on page 7 and 8? Okay. So we're going to collect in waves. First thing I want you to do, if you have 7 and 8 stapled to the rest, pull it apart. Make sure your name is on pages 7 and 8, and please pass that forward. Please pass that forward. Thank you. That's just 7 and 8. Club Excalibur?
Yes.
Microphone's
How many creatures do you
Yeah.
have?
Shirts?
Yeah, how many creatures do you have?
Oh, I got a ton of creatures, man.
You have one?
I know.
I have one?
But I have promised your cousin, I got this white, pretty sweet creature. He goes, "Can I have that?" I said, "You win a state football game, I'll put it in your hand."
Who, David?
Yeah. So if you guys happen to win state this year, it's because I motivated him with a shirt. Are we? Does anyone still have? Is that another 7 and 8? Or no? 7. Okay, we have 7 and 8. All right. Before we move on to the next region, I want to kind of just give you just a smidge of a life story. And it's not because I want to take away from what we're doing with math, but there's just a few things that I want you to know about me. It gives you kind of a little bit different perspective. I love sports. I really do. I love college football. I love NFL football. I love soccer as well. I've coached soccer now. I coached high school soccer for 6 years, and I've coached I coached high school soccer for 7 years. I coached 1 year when I was moved out here. And I've coached my daughter's team now for 7 years, so I guess I have 14 years of soccer coaching under my belt. Now, when I was living in Nevada, I was coaching a high school soccer team. I was the varsity coach, and I interviewed to become a math teacher, and then the athletic director came in and said, "What do you know about soccer?" And I said, "I played soccer up through like 7th grade." He goes, "Great, you're the new varsity coach." That was my interview to become a head coach. Now, depends upon what school you're at. There's sometimes a much tougher interview process than that. I was at a predominantly inner city school in Nevada. We had about a 25% graduation rate. So 75% of our seniors didn't graduate from high school. So it was a pretty low functioning school. So my very first year, we had the previous soccer coach destroyed the program. He was a jerk to kids. He would yell and scream at them, belittle them, all this kind of stuff. I come out there, and all of a sudden we have like 9 kids show up for practice. I said, "Jeez." So I put it on the announcements, "Hey, come out and try out for soccer, blah, 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 new coach, blah, blah, blah." Got us like 10 kids now. Still need more. You need 11 on the field. I mean, yes, you can play with as little as 7 to still have a game, but you're playing against 11 players. So one of the football coaches, his name's Mark Smith. He went by the nickname Smitty. He taught the severe needs special education. These kids were not in any traditional classrooms. Their school day basically looked like, "Hey, I'm going to show you how to get onto the bus. This is how you use the bus." And not the school bus, I'm talking like the city bus. "Hey, you're going to go to the grocery store. What do you need? How do you buy? Here, we're going to have you try and cook food." It was called community-based. This was a program that allowed these students, soon to be adults, to learn the basic needs and skills to survive in a real world. Most of these kids would live in a group home after high school. Once their family was no longer around, they would live in a group home. And this happens in every state and every city throughout the United States. It's just, it is a part of our population. Well, Mark Smitty, came out and he goes, "Hey, coach, I'm a kid that wants to just be part of something here at school. I know you're looking for people. Would you be willing to talk with this kid, Eddie?" I said, "Sure." So Mark yells back around the corner outside on the soccer field, runs back, comes back, brings this kid who's 6'7", 150 pounds, soaking wet. He's got this beautiful hair that's sticking out in every direction this way, jet black hair. These huge, beautiful brown eyes. He has volleyball knee pads on and the shortest pair of running shorts you could ever see and a pair of cleats and shin guards on. So I'm not that tall. He comes out, I look at him and say, "Holy cow, he's a tall kid." "Hi, Eddie, I'm Coach Stirrup." "Hi, Coach." "What do you know about soccer?" He kind of gets this distant stare. I got 10 kids out there. I'm like, okay, this kid's got a heartbeat. He could get out there. And he does this distant stare. "Can't touch the ball with your hands." Okay. We're good. If he doesn't scoop up the ball and run with it with his hands, we should be all right. He's breathing by. So we were going to practice. Now we're getting a couple more guys. I think we got up to about 15 players out there, and one of those was including Eddie. And we were just kind of this ragtag team that was not good. It was fun, but we weren't good. So my very first game, we are going to play South Tahoe. South Tahoe is a California team, ranked number 1 in the United States with their soccer program. And you got me, this team that I can barely field a team. So, get out there, meet their coach. We're warming up. I'm watching their warm up, and it's just this well-maintained machine. They have more coaches than you do have players. I mean, that's the kind of program they're at. And there's me with this bunch of guys. So, blow the whistle, start of the game. 7 seconds into the game, they score. And it's basically like this. Oh, score. Oh, no. About 90 seconds later, they score again. They score again. They score again. At halftime, it's 11-0. Their coach is yelling out to their team to make up stuff for them to do so they wouldn't score. Hey, everybody on our side of the field has to touch the ball 15 times, including a header each, before you can shoot. Boom! Goal. So we are getting slaughtered. I mean, he played mercy on me a little bit because the second half, they only scored 6 more goals. End of the game, it's 17-0. I'd say, if you were to say, how much time did we hold the ball? In an 80-minute game, we maybe had the ball in possession for about 12 seconds. There was nothing we could do. We were horrible. Well, I turn around, and there's Eddie. And he's kind of standing there. He's blinking his eyes, and he's got tears coming down. And I thought, hey, don't worry. We got other games. Well, there's something I didn't do. I didn't play Eddie in that game. And he said to me flat out, Coach, I just wanted to play. It made me feel like this big of a human being. I'm like, we're getting slaughtered. It didn't matter if I had a Cocker Spaniel go out there and run on the field as a player. It didn't matter. We're going to get killed no matter what. But I didn't play Eddie. One, he wasn't good. Like, his dribbling skill was real slow like that. But it didn't matter. We touched the ball for about 12 seconds. The team killed us. Made me just, it really hurt me as a person because I was like, wow, here I thought, okay, I'm going to play my best 14 people, have 11 people out there, rotate with 3 other kids, and didn't have Eddie go out there. So, okay, I tell you what, Eddie, next game, we'll get you out there. It's okay. Now, Eddie could run. He could run faster than anybody, longer than anybody, and he couldn't process what it meant to go warm up, go take a couple of laps. He didn't understand what the word couple meant. So there was one time that the kids said, oh, go do a couple laps. So they did 2 laps around. Eddie did like 5, faster than they did 2. Eddie was so tall that his stride would be from like this wall to that wall when he was at a full sprint. It was amazing watching this kid just run. So we get him out on the field. And I basically told him, I said, Eddie, no matter where the ball goes, just chase it. I mean, this is not a position. It's just he's running out there. He could run the entire time, not even think twice about it. It was pretty cool to see. Now we still got, whooped on. So then we started working with Eddie, saying, hey, Eddie, I need you to, anytime you get the ball, I need you to kick it. Okay. Well, sure enough, he gets there in the 3rd game, gets the ball at his foot, and he, boom, kicks it, puts it right in the back of our net, scores against us. I'm like, Eddie! He's like, hey, coach. Oh, jeez. Come here. Who's our goalie, Eddie? Vicente. Point to him. Right there. Good. Eddie, I don't care if you ever get the ball. If you look up and you see Vicente, you don't do anything to the ball. Just run away from it. Okay. Well, we had a kid on our team. His name's Alex Williams. Alex Williams' mom was somebody who worked in the casinos. She was a high executive in the casinos who worked with something they call the whales. And a whale in a casino is the person who takes care of the high rollers. Okay? She was a very pretty woman, and she had cosmetic surgery to make her nose and her eyes and her cheeks and everything. I mean, that's just the kind of, I don't know, it's a whole different life I don't understand. Well, she always would sit down right next to the field in a lawn chair. And I would tell her, you need to scoot back. We didn't have bleachers. I mean, we were playing on a field. I mean, it was like, I don't even think there was grass growing on it. It was like dirt. But she'd always sit there. Scoot back, so I'll be okay. Well, sure enough, like 8 games into the season, ball gets at Eddie's foot. He looks up, and Vicente's not in front of him. But sitting right where you're sitting is Alex's mom in a lawn chair. Eddie's on the field here. She's just on the sideline there. Kicks it, hits her in the face, breaks her nose, and knocks out her 2 front teeth. Now, I'm chuckling because, like, I warned this woman, look, get back. I mean, blood's going everywhere. I got our trainer over there, hey, Dr. Teeth out. And I bet you paid a lot of money for her teeth because they were like as straight could be. Oh. So that season ends. We lost every game. Yay. Next season comes rolling around. I got a heck of a lot more kids out there on the field. And Eddie has really defined himself as he is working really hard. Now, him working really hard was only like about 5% of somebody being really cruddy. But he worked so hard, and the kids really started respecting Eddie and became an icon on the team. Well, there's one time we were down. This is one of the last games of the season of my second year coaching. We're playing at Carson City in Nevada. They're the Senators, and we're losing. Carson City is doing really well. They're getting ready for the playoffs. Playoffs are nowhere part of our vocabulary ever. So we're playing them. And Eddie became a position that I called PITA. T-I-T-A. Stood for pain in the, and you figure out the A part. You don't have to say it out loud, just figure out. If you want to say apple, go ahead. All right, so anyhow, he would literally mark up whoever would have the ball and shut them down, which it was just a defensive position that happened nonstop on the field. Well, there was one time Eddie was kind of like looking around for where the ball was. And one of my kids named Israel Hernandez, real fast, left wing. He's dribbling the ball. He's going full speed. I mean, carried it right in front of us. Like, yeah. I was like, Eddie! He's like, hey, coach. Standing in the middle of the field. I'm like, oh, jeez. Run that way! And you see right, whoa. I was like, stop! Sure enough, Israel turns, centers the ball, drops right at Eddie's foot, and boom, puts it in the back of the net, scores. I got a yellow card that game, as well as my bench, as well as 6 of my players for excessive celebration. We lost the game 6-1. And their coach is looking at me going, you got one on us. Yeah, but what Eddie did was gold. So after that, we're riding the bus home, and the kids are celebrating on the bus like we just won World Cup. I mean, they're hanging out the windows like, yeah, you're waving to cars, yeah. And I'm like, come on, guys, get your head in the window. Oh, hey, mister. I'm like, come on, you're killing me, kids. We get back to the field. We're getting off the bus. Eddie's dad was a retired police officer from Elko, Nevada. The guy smoked more cigarettes in a day than most people would ever smoke in their life. It was like, over here, I got 2 lit. Oh, I got one in this hand, one in this hand. I mean, that's how the guy smoked. I mean, you could smell him for 20 miles. So he's out there, and he's at the far end of the parking lot smoking down, his 55th cigarette in the past 20 minutes. I was like, the last name of Eddie is Manley. I was like, Officer Manley. Hey, coach. was walking, said, Eddie scored, he scored, he scored. And all the kids are jumping around Eddie and they're jumping around the coach. And Dad started crying because he knew this was the biggest opportunity that his kid has ever had in his life. You know, he scored the game and people are celebrating something that his kid did. And so at the end of that season, I lettered Eddie and I got him a varsity letter. And he got, you know, and this is not something that's common these days, but it's something called a letterman's jacket, which had, you know, we were Wooster, so he had a big W here, and he had the soccer patch here and the year. And he was walking, he would strut around campus in that letterman's jacket, just like, yeah, soccer player. He thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So, the last year I coached, my 6th year, Eddie had no longer played. That was actually the second year end, that's when Eddie had played. But my last year coaching, we were taking a run at the state title. In fact, our record for the year was 15 wins, 0 ties, 1 loss. The 1 loss was in the semifinal game, and I lost to a team that I had beat 8-0 in the regular season. They beat me 1-0. Broke my heart. I thought we were going to make it all the way to state. We were 1 game away from the state game. Furthest that the school's ever gone in soccer. It was fantastic. And it was hard. It was a tough season seeing that. But I had one of the kids that had played on Eddie's team, and he would show up to the field and say, "Hey, coach, can I help you coach?" Even after he was out of high school. His name was Chris Katoner. And he said, you know, he comes down on the field, and I got my head down. Man, I can't believe we lost this game. Lost to Douglas High School. Jeez. And Katoner comes in to me. "Hey, coach, man, great season. That was awesome." "Yeah, coach. Man, Chris, God, we're so close." "Nah, coach, we got something bigger. You got something bigger. This whole team has something better than that ever." "What are you talking about, Chris?" He goes, "Dude, you were coaching when Eddie scored." So here's this special needs kid that you would see him because he was tall, but you wouldn't have paid attention to him because you knew he was not in regular classes. But Eddie made a name for himself as the kid who scored. And it was unbelievable. And right before I moved out here, I was out for a run, and I'm running. We had a nice jogging path right past the Truckee River, which is the Sierra Nevadas and weaves through Reno and drops off in Pyramid Lake. And I'm just kind of running. There wasn't earbuds at the time, so I didn't have music in. I'm just kind of jogging, like, oh, it's a river. And all of a sudden, next to me is Eddie. He was fishing in the river and saw me jogging by, and he dropped everything. I didn't even see him. I thought guys fishing, but I wasn't, going, "Oh, is that Eddie?" And all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh, it's Eddie." "Hey, coach." He's at the time he's 23 years old. "How you doing, Eddie?" "Oh, I'm good." He gets that blank stare and starts looking out at the river. He says, "Coach, you remember when I scored?" I brought a tear to my eye. Man, I'll never forget that day ever. And here was a special needs kid that taught me the biggest life lesson that I ever got in my entire life of being a teacher and an educator and a coach. If you're always trying to find the most incredible thing out there, you're going to miss some of the most beautiful things that ever happened in life. And that's the story of Eddie in soccer, and that's kind of how I look at stuff. So I just wanted you guys to know that. Like it? Eddie, a good story. I go find a picture of Eddie. Right now. No. So, no applause, just throw money. All right. So we have, let's see. This wasn't one of the problems on the homework, was it? This was? I don't know. Well, it looks like example 5. But these are some questions. Are these questions from pages 8, 9, or 9, 10, 11? Yeah. Yes. Everyone agree? All right, so let's focus on those first. Let's see. Number Says half the difference between a number and 12. So half the difference between, and I'm dividing by 2 because that's half. Half the difference. Difference means subtraction. So half the difference between a number and 12 is 15. Is means equal. And then you could go ahead and work that out, okay? And I'm just deciphering the number, what the words do for you. So work that out and you'll be able to find that. Number 16 says, find 2 consecutive integers with a sum of 29. Okay, so we have to think about this, and this actually will lead us into today's lecture a little bit. An integer, 2 consecutive integers. So like 2 and 3 are consecutive integers. They're one after the other. Agree? So find 2 consecutive integers with a sum. Well, they have a sum of x. Okay? So you have these 2 integers that will equal 29 when you add them up. Okay? So I don't know what this is, but I'm going to call this x. So what would I have to do? Like, let's say I knew it had the number 6, and I wanted to get to the number 7. What am I adding to 6 to get to 7? 1, right? So think of this. Think of x as the number 6. What do I have to do to x to get to the next consecutive integer? Yeah. Go ahead. So what would I have to do to number 6, or 6 to get to 7? I have to add 1. So what would I have to do to x to get to the next consecutive integer? Keep saying it. I would have to add 1 to it. Okay? And then you can drop the box, now you have x, and x plus 1 equals 29. X plus x is 2x plus 1 equals 29. And then if you solve this, you're going to find subtracting 1, 2x equals 28, divided by 2. So you have x equals 14. So this integer is 14. What does the next integer have to be? 15. If you add 14 and 15 together, do you get 29? That's exactly how you go through that problem. Number 18. Let's just skip 18. I'm not going to ever give you one that difficult on a test. Just put an X on it. Yeah?
I was really confused on number 14 because I kept going through it, and I think that.
Here, I'm not even going to look at the problem. I'm just going to write down the problem and see if I get the same. Okay, so I have this. So subtract 5, and I'm not looking at the work. I'm just going to do the problem itself. That gives me 12, and then divide each side by -2. So x is equal to -6.
Because it said McKenna solved the following equation incorrectly, and she got -6.
Yeah. I don't think there's an error.
Yeah, there isn't.
Yeah.
Huh.
I was confused.
Oh man, we
It
threw a
was a
curveball. I'm sorry. There's not an error on number 14. So number 14 took care of. Number 8 and number 20. Number 8. So there's not an error on 14. They just got goofy. Okay, and I think we did this one the other day, but I'll still work it. It's the same one. So I have 2 terms. I have this term and this term as my 2 terms. Does that make sense if I state that? So I would multiply both sides by 6 over 1. So that's going to give me 2 equals x minus 29 over 2. You don't need to have that in parentheses any longer. Oops, 2 equals x minus 29 over 2. And then from there, go ahead and multiply each term by 2 over 1. So it's 4 equals 2x minus 29. And then you could solve that and get there. And then number 20. Number 20, they tell us that all the interior angles add up to 360. Okay, so you add all these up, and they get 360. So that's 17, 24, 36a, if you add those all together. equals 36. Divide each side by 36. That's not me. Equals 10. And then, you don't have to use protractor. Then find the angle. So if your A value is 10, so the angle at 7A is 70. The angle at 10A is 100. 12A1 is 120. The 7A1 is 70. Cool. Make sure your names are on that. Pass that on forward. I think I have just enough time to hit our notes, which is great. So, can you do me a favor? Will you pick up all of the homework? Sorry. How are you, Flip? I'll go over it a little bit. I'll finish it up here.
Wait, don't pass it.
You're bold.
This is Nomer. Thank you so much for collecting those for me. We will. All right. All right, let's take a look at your notes real quick. We got just enough time.
Got 3 minutes.
We're good. Oh, I already put them in.
We have 3 minutes left.
All right. So, first question on you. I think we actually worked that problem already. Ready? 2 consecutive even numbers. Okay, 2 consecutive even numbers, sum, let's add, is equal to 62. Ooh, thank you. On the assignment, what we just had was 2 consecutive integers. So we said to get from 6 to 7, we'd have to add 1. So that was x and x plus 1 for consecutive integers. But we want consecutive even numbers. Okay, so let's think of this. We know like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 are even numbers, yes? So how would I get from 2 to 4? What do I have to add to 2? 2. How do I get from 4 to 6? What do I have to add to 4? 2. Okay, so if this is your first integer, then this has to be your second. So then you have x and x plus 2 equals 62. That's 2x plus 2 equals 62. Divide each side by 2. So you get 2x is equal to 60 divided by 2. So we get x equals 30. What's my other one? 32. Are they even numbers?
Yes.
Do they add up to 62?
Yes.
Sweet.
I'm smart.
You are. All right. Can I move on? Ready? Here we go. Next one says 3 consecutive numbers. Does it say consecutive even or consecutive odd? Yeah, it's all. So 3 consecutive numbers. So 3 numbers in a row have a sum of 36. Okay? So consecutive numbers, we're not skipping by 2 because they're not even anymore. So I have x. What would the next number be to get to the next consecutive? X plus 1 and
X plus 35.
x plus 2. So we can grab our boxes. So x added together is 3x. 1 plus 2 is 3. Subtract 3 from both sides. So I get 3x is equal to 33. Divide each side by 3. So x equals 11.
11.
Okay, so that's 11. What's this one? 12. What's this one?
13.
If I add 11 plus 12 plus 13, I get 36. Are they consecutive numbers? 11, 12, 13. Yep, right in a row. So, guys, girls, homework for tonight. Homework for tonight is page 1314. Page 1314 tonight. I know you don't have to come walking in until you guys are done, do you? Just saying. Okay, thanks. Huh? It's good. It's recorded.